Hello and welcome to the COP30 Sessions live from High House in Belém, Brazil. Even among its greatest defenders, you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who thought that COP is perfect. Calls for reform are being taken very seriously at the highest level at the United Nations. So, what might be about to change, and how could that help avert catastrophic rises in temperatures? To help answer these questions, I'm delighted to be joined by Mary Robinson, former President of Ireland and a member of the Elders, a group of global leaders founded by Nelson Mandela and set up to work for peace, justice, human rights and a sustainable planet. A veteran of many COPs, she's been a leading voice calling for reform in the process. Mary Robinson, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
Let me ask start with a simple question. Does COP in its current form work?
It works at one level, but now it needs to do a different job. It was set up to carry forward all the things that were agreed in Paris that had to be implemented. But they were rules and complicated. Now we're into implementation in practical terms. How do we make sure we phase out of fossil fuel, we have no deforestation, we triple the money, we do all the things that are needed by people around the world that they look to COPs for. We're not well geared for that.
Yeah, and so let me ask then about implementation, because here in Brazil, the organisers wanted it to be called the Implementation COP. They were building on that very idea. Is that what we're seeing happen here, though?
Not as much as it would be if we can get the kind of reform, and it actually needs to be a broader reform too. I'm on an advisory group, a high-level dialogue that the current executive director of the COP, Simon Steele, has put together. And we've been discussing the need to streamline, the need to really be more effective in implementation. But there's a wider story also about bringing the three conventions together, because they're all now into implementation. They've all done their homework on the rules.
Yeah.
And they need now to focus on making a difference in people's lives. That's what COPs have to do.
And when we say the three conventions, you mean climate change, biodiversity
and desertification.
Yeah.
Agreed in 1992. And it was great to have these three conventions with the three secretariats, the three bureaucracies, but now we know climate and nature are the same spectrum. They're completely connected. So we really need to bring it all together in a way that doesn't bog us down necessarily in convention reform, which could be very long, but bring the secretariats together under one management, have them all learn from each other, have small countries only have to report once to all three. These would be simple things that would make a difference.
And, I mean, you're part of these conversations, like you're saying, at the highest level at the United Nations, obviously being taken very seriously. Often the United Nations is accused of being a great place for talking and less so for delivery and action. How confident are you that the changes you're talking about, the changes that are being discussed, will then become real?
It will never be perfect, but I think it will be more effective. And actually, one of the reasons why it has to be more effective is that I remember when we had the Paris Agreement, we got, with difficulty, because it wasn't agreed at the beginning of the COP, we got this goal of staying well below 2 degrees and working for 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial standards. And that was because the small island states said, if you don't agree this, we will go underwater. We will no longer be sovereign countries. We'll have to move and only be a group of people in a wider country. Is that what you want? And there was a lot of emotion. There was a high-level coalition that came together to get 1.5 into the text. And that was really important. And we worked on how to get, net zero, how to get nationally determined contributions, all the language of Paris. We're now, 10 years later, in a very similar situation where we need to recognize the risks we now face, which are even more serious there are the risks of tipping point. We may lose the coral reefs within the next 10 years. Have you ever swum in the coral reefs?
I have.
I mean, that life is unbelievable. We may lose the Amazon. I happen to be a guardian of the planetary boundaries, which impresses my grandchildren enormously. They think I'm part of Star Wars or something. But it's a way, the planetary approach is the way forward. And I think all the COPs have to unite under that. And what it is really saying we now know that the potential to lose control is real with these tipping points. But the law now is on our side. It's not just political, what was committed to in Paris. I thought it was only political. We worked very hard to get it. Governments agreed that it was their political decision. Now it's both political and legal. And that makes all the difference.
I wanted to ask you about exactly this. So there has been a push through the International Court of Justice led by countries like Antigua and Barbuda.
Led by Vanuatu lawsuit.
I stand corrected. You're absolutely right.
And then lawsuit from the Pacific, and then young climate activists around the world. It was a wonderful young people's idea. I met them about halfway through, before they got the resolution of the General Assembly, and I said, they're wonderful. But they're kind of crazy. Are they going to be able to do this? So we got a unanimous decision of the General Assembly when Vanuatu, which was under pressure not to put it forward. See, people can be shamed into being their better self. You can put it up to them. And I think this put it up, and we got a unanimous decision of the General Assembly, a unanimous ruling on all the issues of the International Court. And now we have a reinforced position here in order to phase out fossil fuel. It's both political and legal that we must do it.
And just in practical terms for our audience, that means that countries who do not reach the commitments that are promised here at COP, they can be prosecuted in the court.
They risk cases against them, both countries and corporations. We will see a lot of litigation. I'm a lawyer. If I was a young lawyer now, I'd get into climate law. Good for business.
And so a final question for you, Mary Robinson. In 5 years, do you think COP as we know it will still exist?
I hope that COP, in a reformed way, will still exist, because it's a once-a-year concentration, but it ought to be on climate and nature more, on health, on everything that's about our living in a livable planet, and about those who must be included, Indigenous peoples. It's wonderful to see them here. I've never seen more women power than at this COP under our Project Dandelion, where we're all using the same symbol to grow our power together by affirming each other and feeling stronger and getting financial support to the grassroots, to the indigenous communities who are saving the forests, to smallholder farmers who are feeding the world. And so, I hope the COPs of the future will be even more in that direction.
Mary Robinson, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's all we have time for today. You've been watching the COP30 Sessions from High House in Brazil.